Hi, I'm Marlene Peterson, and I'm so happy to introduce you to a new offering from Libraries of Hope in connection with the Well-Educated Heart and Mothers of Influence. We are calling it Belle Ame at Home. If you haven't yet watched the Belle Ame Dream in Section 6 of Catch the Vision at librariesofhope.com, I invite you to do so. Belle Ame is French for beautiful soul, for that which uplifts and ennobles. Beautiful souls will build a beautiful world. Just like a garden, souls need to be tended and cared for and nourished. Our mission statement is, we are gathering a community of families who are relearning the lost art of educating hearts and souls through the arts. We seek to preserve a culture of faith, freedom, and family, and a love of the good, the true, and the beautiful. We hope to build a central campus, a home for the work in which we are engaged, where you can bring your families for an immersionary experience and deepen your understanding of all you are learning. We have secured land and have a preliminary design. Belle Ame at Home is a prelude to that campus, but also stands independently to assist you in the vital work you are doing in your own homes. We believe mothers are divinely endowed with gifts of nurturance. We concur with Pius IX. Give me good mothers, and I will save the world. In the olden days, there were many mothers, helpers to support the mother in her work. Today, mothers often work in isolation, bearing the full load of child rearing. Belle Ame at Home seeks to lighten that load by bringing in some helpers. But none of them can, nor should they replace a mother's heart and personality. They are there to help, but you are in charge. Adapt what is being offered to the circumstances and needs of your own family. Many of you have been trying to implement the Well-Educated Heart philosophy of learning into your homes, but have felt a need for additional guidance and support. Belle Ame at Home provides that. The guiding objective of Belle Ame at Home can be remembered through arts. Form habits of attention. Build relationships and connections. Gather treasures into the heart. Strengthen home and family. Now, imagine we are about to embark on an adventure, a tour of the whole world. But we won't be making the trip on a jet plane. Rather, we will climb aboard a little train that leisurely meanders through the countryside. We are not in a hurry at all. It is a journey and not a destination. Our little train will stop at inspiration stations along the way that will give us ideas of how to learn about the places we are traveling through. Sometimes we will spend a little time in an art museum. Other times we will take in a symphony orchestra or join in singing folk songs with the locals. Maybe we'll learn of some out-of-the-way place we want to visit next time we stop by, or take the time to eat a meal with the great soul we have been introduced to. Sometimes the local people will invite us into their homes and share their traditions with us and the food they love and the crafts they enjoy making. Maybe they'll even invite us to dance with them. How many things we do is entirely up to us. Sometimes we will take in a lot. Sometimes we may only be able to do a little, but it's okay because we'll pass through the same countryside every year, year after year, year after year, maybe even for a whole lifetime. Each time the people and the places will become more familiar. We will look forward to returning to our friends we have made and eagerly look forward to meeting new ones. Along the way, we will learn the stories of their history, visit their landmarks, read their literature and poetry, meet their epic heroes, enjoy their fairy tales and myths. We will take in all the beauties of their countries and appreciate the gifts they have added to the culture of our world. Over time, we will fall in love with our wonderful world and, more importantly, its people. Robert Louis Stevenson reminds us, the world is so full of a number of things, I'm sure we should all be as happy as kings. We will also travel through the world of nature, the stars, the rocks, the rivers and seas, the plants and trees and creepy-crawly things and birds and animals of all kinds. They all have lessons to teach us. and through our habits of attention, they will begin to unfold their mysteries to us. Orison Swett Marden tells us the whole world is full of unworked joy mines. Everywhere we go, we find all sorts of happiness-producing material if we know how to extract it. So the first objective of Belle Ame at Home offers you ways to help your children and yourself develop habits of attention that will enable us to extract all that happiness-producing material. The wonders of the world will remain locked to the child who has no eyes to see with, nor ears to hear, nor a desire to seek. John Muir Laws, an internationally acclaimed nature journalist, teaches that love is sustained, compassionate attention. Let yourself fall in love with your life by paying attention. In fact, in ancient Hebrew education in the days of Daniel, the main purpose of education was to form habits of attention, and that when these had once been secured, the pupil would be capable of mastering any subject that divine providence should put before him. In the Catch the Vision introductory course, I mentioned that as I searched for God's purpose and methods of education, I first concluded that His purpose is that children be prepared to live lives of maximum joy. As to His methods, it is best summed up in a quote found in the writings of Charlotte Mason: "True education is between a child's soul and God." By developing habits of attention, we open ourselves up to the lessons heaven reserves to itself to teach. As I introduce you to the teachers and classes we have gathered to teach these habits, rest assured these helpers are all familiar with the well-educated heart philosophy of learning, and wherever possible will incorporate what they are teaching with the topics in the rotation schedule, which you can find on the homepage of librariesofhope.com. The first habit comes through drawing. Drawing produces exactness of thought. The internationally acclaimed Monart method for drawing instruction was developed by Mona Brooks. She writes, "At a time when more and more of our youth are being designated as having learning problems, Monart is a program that is helping them. It turns out that visual emphasis was one of the missing links in our teaching environment. It has been established that if you draw what you are learning about, you will learn it much faster and retain the information much longer. Everyone loves to draw if they are given a non-threatening environment with enough structure for success and enough freedom for creativity. That is what Monart provides." Belle Ame at Home is excited to welcome Sarah Peterson as our Monart licensed instructor who has been given permission by Monart to offer virtual classes for you. Sarah, an accomplished artist, comes from a family of artists. Her father is Del Parson, whose works are likely familiar to many of you. Her grandfather started the art program at what was then Ricks College. She gave birth to 4 of her 7 children while going through the Master of Fine Arts program at the Academy of Art University. But do you know what? She told me she thought she couldn't draw in the beginning. Monart is for all ages. Everyone can learn to draw. Each week you will be able to access a virtual recorded lesson to guide you through this process of learning to draw what you see. Our second habit of attention turns to the ear and music. The first and most important musical instrument that we all have access to is our voice, and our program of choice to offer you is Music Together, taught by the delightful Carrie Dahl, an experienced Music Together instructor. In a nutshell, their mission is to make the world a better place by making it more musical. They do this by providing the highest quality music and movement classes to families everywhere. Classes are found in over 40 countries, yet everyone sings the same music. Music Together is exposure to a rich, diverse song mix that represents many different musical styles and traditions, which broadens our capacity to appreciate all music. You will connect to cultures around the world through their folk songs and lullabies. Even babies will learn to sing through this program. Singing as a family will not only strengthen the bonds you have with your children, It will create unique connections in the brain that support your child's language, social, emotional, cognitive, and physical development too. Our third habit of attention now turns to the dramatic instinct and the power of the voice to express the heart through storytelling and through the music of the spoken word. Our mother helper for this class is Carla Huntsman. She says, making meaning through story and theater activities has been my life's work. These complementary art forms deepen our abilities to live, laugh, love, and learn to make meaning of our world. Through the years, I have seen hundreds of lives changed through the power of story, both with storytelling itself and with dramatic activities. Carla spent over 20 years on the faculties of 4 universities, teaching drama education, public speaking, interpersonal communication, and storytelling. She has provided teacher in-service training, residencies, workshops, and conference presentations and performances at local, state, and national venues. She is excited to bring her knowledge to our community of families. Our fourth habit of attention turns to the art of nourishing our bodies and paying attention to what we are feeding it. Annie Miller will be offering unique cooking classes for your children. These aren't the typical cook-by-recipe classes, but rather she will first teach them principles of nutrition and then help them learn to combine foods in delicious ways to nourish their bodies. They will learn to cook foods from around the world in connection with our world tour. Mind, body, and heart are all connected. These 4 classes will be offered as a once-a-week experience. On the 5th day, we are offering a number of creative activities to choose from. There is great joy in the creative process, and there is no creation without the act of paying attention to what we are doing. We want to teach our children to be creators, not consumers. In our world of virtual reality and artificial intelligence, it's more important than ever to connect our children to that which is authentic and real, especially the creations by their own hands. So many skills are being lost. Annalie Baldwin will offer a variety of crafting classes connected to the cultures we study each month. She is a talented homeschooling mother of 3 who loves to create. Amy Hansen will be teaching sewing skills for those of you with a sewing machine or who have a desire to buy a sewing machine. After you go through the initial basic sewing classes, join in the monthly offerings that will include sewing stuffed animals and other things kids enjoy. We even have plans for a quilt block a month class, as well as hand sewing projects. Patty Rokas is offering a rock art camp to help your young children learn the joys of storytelling through telling stories with rocks and giving tips for happy living along the way. We will be adding a variety of creative classes along the way. There are so many possibilities. You will also find instruction in folk dancing, cultural games, and other activities that will enhance your study of the nations we visit. All of these classes will be offered on demand, and you can work them into your family life as they make sense to you. Our second objective is building relationships and making connections with others. Friendships are key to joyful living. For those of you who are homeschooling, it is the isolation that often drives children back to school, where sadly too many of them find themselves in toxic environments. Most of our kids crave friendships. While virtual friendships are not the ideal, it is a place to start. So an important part of what Belle Ame at Home will offer you is a way to connect your family with other families. Each day, or as frequently as your group decides, your kids will be able to have a short Zoom session with friends where they will be able to engage with each other and share what they are learning and doing. Our platform provides a way for you to build community and friendship. You will be able to find families who live near you, or you may choose to form a group from families who live in faraway places. I have grandchildren who are excited to have a cousins group because they don't live near each other. Or you may form a group in your own neighborhoods. When you enter the Belle Ame at Home community, you'll be given further instructions. Just know you are in charge. You can make these groups as large or small as you want. It is suggested that you meet together in person as often as possible, whether that is weekly, monthly, or even a few times a year. From time to time, include families from many groups and hold a cultural celebration, bringing potluck foods from the countries you have visited, displaying your creations, dancing, and singing together. Maybe even put on a play. These celebrations would be a perfect time to invite other families and introduce them to Belle Ame at home. Each day, students in these groups will be given a virtual mini-prompt from a variety of mentors of something to do, to search for, something to talk about or explore. If you are familiar with the Take Fives, this is like a Take Five for young people, where they will be introduced to a lot of tools for learning over time. We will provide several ways for kids to interact with each other and build friendships, as well as introduce them to mentors who will inspire them and encourage them in their learning. We will weave into this experience the art of conversation and the art of writing from the heart and the art of falling in love with learning and great books. Now, our third objective is to gather treasures into the heart. The scriptures teach, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is the heart and soul of the Belle Ame at home experience, and is where most of the day will be spent. One way this will happen is that each day will begin with a special tour guide who will introduce them to where our imaginary train ride has brought us, and will offer an inspirational quote or poem that they will be encouraged to copy and add to their own treasury of ennobling and uplifting thoughts, and may even choose to memorize, according to their own desire. The habits of attention courses, as well as the Zoom class meetings, if you choose to do them daily, may take up to an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, but the bulk of the day will be for what we are calling pasture learning. We have put up fences of sorts through the use of the rotation schedule, but if your children find greener pastures, of course they can go there. Pasture learning describes the hours of exploration and discovery of free and imaginative play, of field trips, and lots of time in the sunshine. There is time to listen to stories and read and write. Carla Huntsman has invited 6 of her professional storyteller friends to tell stories by heart from the forgotten classics, to stir interest and desire to study more, which you will find in a Storyteller's Corner. In fact, everything we do in the first and second parts I've described is to stir desire and interest to make the most of their pasture learning experience. Freedom to discover is essential for growth and joy. Someone on our development team noticed that Belle Ame at home spells ba, which of course reminds us of sheep grazing in a pasture. In the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd. The shepherd preparest a table. That meant he would go into the pasture and clear out the toxic and poisonous plants so that the sheep could safely graze. We believe that is what BiblioGuides offers you, a place for your children to safely read and learn from the best books that have ever been written. The forgotten classics are being added and tagged in BiblioGuides for easy access. Access to BiblioGuides is included with your Belle Ame at Home membership, and guides will teach your children how to get the most use of it in their Zoom classes. The enrichment section of the Libraries of Hope website provides additional access to fine art, masterpieces of music, more craft and cooking ideas, movies, even plays. These learning tools will be talked about in the Zoom class prompts. Over time, we hope students will be so excited about what they are learning and reading and experiencing and creating that they will naturally want to share with their friends and families, and that will inspire them to want to learn more too. The ideal learning environment is not in isolation, but in community. Yes to solitary, quiet, and reflective times, but without an outlet, learning can stagnate and grow stale. As we develop habits of attention, build relationships, store treasures of goodness in the heart, our homes and families will quite naturally be strengthened, and strong, healthy families are at the foundation of a strong, healthy world. Now you may be asking, but what about the 3 R's? Well, there are non-traditional ways of teaching academic skills that are talked about in the Mother's University. For those of you who feel more comfortable with traditional ways, you will find an academic station with recommendations for these academic skill-building subjects. Of course, you will want to work academic skills into the rhythm of the day, but they are not the primary focus here. Just know, everything you will be doing will support academic excellence without you having to spend an inordinate amount of time directly teaching it. Which brings me to one more important piece of this program. Belle Ame at Home is based on the well-educated heart philosophy of learning. There is a free introductory course called Catch the Vision that you are encouraged to go through in order to see your role as mother-teacher more clearly and to understand why we are doing the things we are doing. If you have previously gone through it, you are encouraged to go through it again. Well, what is being taught hasn't changed. You have changed, and you will glean new insights each time you go through it. It's more about seeing learning through new eyes than anything else. We have a mother's community, Mothers of Influence, where you will find friendship, support, and a place to ask questions. There is a Mother's University for continued learning. This is not a journey you need to make alone. I'll say it again. This is a journey, not a destination. So enjoy each step along the way. Learning is eternal. I expect you are asking, so how much is this going to cost? A single online class for Monart, for example, is around $65 a month for each student. A BiblioGuides membership is about $12 a month if you pay monthly, or half that if you pay annually. And you are getting music together classes, cooking and sewing and craft and storytelling classes, and support for creating group learning experiences with mentors. We can't offer it for free, but we know this has to be affordable. Because all of our Mother's Helpers are doing this because they believe in this work of the heart in healing our world, they are making it possible for us to offer all of these things for a fraction of what you would pay separately for these classes and support. The cost to access all that I have described is $79 a month per family. For $79, you receive a BiblioGuides membership, Monart classes, music together classes, dramatic storytelling, nutritional cooking for kids, sewing classes, rock art camp, crafting classes, additional creative classes, games, folk dance instruction, group facilitation with mentor prompts, the Storyteller's Corner, the Academic Station, daily inspiring copywork, support and inspiration for the whole family. And that's not all. At the beginning, I referred you to the Belle Ame Dream. This is a beautiful campus we hope to build, a center for artful living. Belle Ame at Home is the prelude to the campus experience. We have already secured 140 acres in the heart of America, in Missouri, and plans are being drawn up. We believe that by small and simple means, great things can be brought to pass. And wouldn't it be a most wonderful miracle to show the world that this beautiful campus and gardens were built by small and simple means? That ordinary people contributing in ordinary ways can join together to do something extraordinary? If the number of subscribers allows it, much of your monthly contribution for Belle Ame at Home will be used to build the campus. We don't want this to be built by wealthy philanthropists or investors. This is meant to be a gift, our gift to future generations, built by the contributions of their mothers and grandmothers who had their eyes upon them. As founding families, everyone who completes a full year of supporting Belle Ame at Home will have a paver stone with their family name on it placed on the campus as a reminder of the families who made this Belle Ame dream come true. All ages are invited to join Belle Ame at Home, and classes will be presented family style. If your children are all grown up, or even if you have no children of your own, you are also invited to join. Gather a circle of your own friends and make use of all that is being offered here to enrich your own lives. Registration will open soon. Classes will open in mid-August, beginning with an orientation week. More information will be coming. Check the featured section in the Well-Educated Heart Facebook group, or the Mothers of Influence community and Mighty Networks, or our newsletter for updates. If we don't like the direction our world is heading, we, the mothers who are the guardians of hearts, are the ones with the power to change the course. Mothers make history. As Confucius taught, to put the world right in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must first set our hearts right. Setting hearts right is the work of the arts, and this is the spirit of Belle Ame Centers for Artful Living. Belle Ame at Home is the next step. Will you join us?